Yeah. I know that things are tough, but we will make it out. Dominica, we all gonna make it one day. The pressures of the system make us lose around. Oh yeah, we all gonna make it one day. Yeah, listen now. There's something that I wanna say to you. You get me so angry. Yeah, man, this is Emma Moses, and you're watching Sat News, the People's Choice. Yeah, make it bless, make it bless, make it bless. Love.
Welcome to SAT TV's news. I am Shanna Esprit, your presenter. In our top stories, Caribbean Court of Justice as the final court of appeal for Dominica. Tragedy hits BCG. Nairobi airport closes as fire crews tackle blaze. And in sports, Antigua Hawksbill secure first win in 2013 Lima Caller CPL. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. Minister of National Security, Honorable Charles Savre says the citizens of Dominica can feel confident that all measures for the country's geothermal project have been taken to ensure its authenticity. In recent times, residents of the Roseau Valley have criticized the government for lack of proper consultation on the project, so that they are aware of the effects this project would have on the environment. However, Mr. Savre says the government is going ahead with plans to construct the geothermal plant in Loda.
We've had some of the best experts involved in this activity from Iceland, from the United States, and so on, so that we are satisfied that this is not being a two-show, two-flank kind of thing. This has been studied thoroughly, scientifically. All the reports are there. They establish the scientific basis for the generation of electricity, and because of the significant investment that geothermal generation involves, we have decided that we will begin first by establishing a 50 megawatt plant which would provide domestic supply, which the government and people of Dominica would own to about 80% of the share capital.
They would then seek international investment for the construction of the major plant, which would have the capacity to supply electricity via an underwater cable to the neighboring islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe. The Roseau Valley residents have raised concerns of land acquisition by the government, as a significant amount of land would be needed for this project. They also raised a number of concerns, including toxic gases being released in the environment and water contamination, among others, placing a dark shadow on the project. Parliamentary representative for the Roseau Valley constituency and Minister for Employment, Trade, Industry and Diaspora Affairs, Honorable Colin McIntyre, assured the residents that the government would not put anyone's life at risk. According to Dr. McIntyre, many Caribbean countries are looking closely at Dominica's geothermal project. If successful, they will be able to benefit from this energy, while Dominica continues its quest to be the leader in geothermal energy in the Caribbean. In more news, Mr. Merrill J. Matthew, Dean of Faculty of Education at the Dominica State College, is urging adults throughout the island to further their education. This statement comes after 40 candidates who took the DSC administered June 2013 City and Guilds International Examinations excelled, setting a record for the college. Mr. Matthew says it does not matter whether adults may be currently employed, continued education refers to everyone.
What we need to understand in Dominica is if we do not bring ourselves to international level, people from out there will come and take the jobs that are available in Dominica. We see it happen when big jobs, big projects land in Dominica. Sometimes we do not have the people who can do the work. And it is not, I do not believe it is because they do not have the skill competence. It is because they do not have a piece of paper that says to the company, that says to the contractors that these people can do it.
Continued education is necessary if an individual has the skills but does not have the written qualification which says so, he stated. Mr. Matthews strongly believes that it is extremely vital that Dominicans take advantage of these courses offered by the Dominica State College,
so that they become competitive. Currently there's a big move in the Caribbean for what we call CVQ, Caribbean Vocational Qualification. And what the CVQ does, it is like the Eastern Caribbean dollar. A dollar is a dollar whether you're in St. Kitts, St. Vincent, Grenada, or Dominica. And what is happening, the move now is people in the region need to get Caribbean vocational qualifications so that they can move freely within the region.
The Caribbean Vocational Qualification Program will prevent others from questioning one's ability, he added. Mr. Matthew noted the same program, which is conducted as CVQ Level 2 in Dominica, will be the same as those in Barbados, Jamaica, and St. Vincent.
An individual having a CVQ Level 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in Dominica can go anywhere in the region, and when a door opens can walk in and say, I am legitimate, I am applying for this job. So it's very important that people, and particularly people without formal education, who have a lot of skill, they're good, but all Dominica State College will do is bring them into a learning environment, provide them with the touch-up that they may need in terms of knowledge, and then they get tested. So yes, it is very important that people, particularly in the trades area, take advantage of programs like this.
The Dean also congratulated the 40 students who excelled magnificently in their exams.
The 40 candidates who passed the exams makes a record for the Dominica State College, in that it is the very first time that every student registered for the City and Guilds exam in all subjects have passed. So that is a record for us. The question we ask ourselves, and the question many people ask us, is what is responsible for that powerful performance? And we think it is the quality of the instruction that our lecturers deliver. Mr. Reynold Bunch is the one who teaches motor vehicle engineering, and Mr. Joseph Matthew is the one who teaches electrical installation.
In other news, the Caribbean Export Development Agency, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, the Discover Dominica Authority, and the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries, held a Caribbean and Wellness Forum at the Fort Young Hotel on Wednesday, August 7th, to discuss a program of action and way forward for the health and wellness sector. The model of health and wellness is more than massages, nail treatments, and body treatments that we often speak of. It is a comprehensive concept. Mr. David Gomez, a representative from Caribbean Exports, said Caribbean islands should capitalize on the differences that allow them to stand out from other countries.
I think that as Caribbean people, as people who fight for independence and for our identities and recognition, that we do enough to make visitors recognize the differences that we do have and the uniquenesses that we all claim we do have. So when I come to Dominica, I don't want to eat a burger, and I don't want to eat a hot dog, and I don't want to eat something else. I want to eat what is truly Dominican, and I want to be able to have the fresh fruits. So if I can't get the mangoes and the things in the morning, then I'm upset. When I'm in Barbados, sorry, Mr. Mullin, I can understand. They don't have that there. But when I'm in Dominica, that's what I expect.
He hopes that Dominica will be able to blaze a new trail and be the trendsetter to take forward the idea of developing a region of brand and identity for the Caribbean in regards to spa and wellness. The Chief Executive Director of Discover Dominica Authority, Mr. Colin Piper, called for integration between the spa and wellness and the tourism sector.
Health and wellness, tourism is now an international trend set by the health-conscious consumers seeking to enhance their well-being through their travel experiences. The region has since recognized the importance of this market as an income generator for the islands, and more importantly, Dominica, with its potential in the market, wishes to further develop this niche to serve as an addition to our tourism product offerings.
According to statistics, Mr. Colin Piper stated that the account size of the health and wellness sector is $3 billion worldwide, of which the Caribbean stands to benefit approximately $190 million if proper strategies are put in place.
As you know, Dominica has a goal of 90,000 visitor arrivals by the end of 2015. And for Dominica, the health and wellness market has the potential to contribute significantly to the growth in visitor arrivals, but more importantly, to positively impact the visitor experience. With our natural features and assets setting us aside and even ahead of other destinations, it is now time for the sector, both public and private, to recognize that a more collaborative effort is needed in order to get the sector mobilized.
In more stories, Dominica has been very instrumental in making the Caribbean Court of Justice its final appeals court. The Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit said in respect to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the government held on to the process for further consultations by writing to a number of stakeholders in Dominica.
The IC, the HTA, the trade unions, and so forth, to get their views and feedback on what they think of the CCJ and Dominica's intention to accede to the appellate jurisdiction. We have received feedback from all of them. Everybody has indicated their total and absolute support for the decision of the government to accede to the CCJ. And I can say that the letter to the British government is in place.
Mr. Skerrit said that he held discussions with the British High Commissioner last week and indicated to him that the British government will receive a formal letter from the government of Dominica this week.
So before the end of the week, we would have dispatched a formal and official letter with the government's seal to the British government, indicating Dominica's decision to join the CCJ in the appellate jurisdiction and requesting the support and understanding of the British government in that regard to allow us to move with the process of acceding to the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction.
The CCJ was established in 2001 to replace the London-based Privy Council and also serves as an international tribunal interpreting the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas that governs CARICOM. While most of the CARICOM countries have joined the CCJ in its original jurisdiction, only Barbados, Guyana, and Belize are signatories to the appellate jurisdiction. St. Lucia is also expected to join Dominica in making the CCJ its final court of appeal. In other stories, Public Relations Officer Inspector John Carbon has reported that one individual has been detained during their investigation into the discovery of 39 kilograms of cocaine found on Friday, August 2nd, 2013.
About 10:45 a.m., members of the drug squad and the Customs Canine Unit found and seized 30 kilos of cocaine in an abandoned concrete oven at Pakistan. There was no arrest. However, the investigation continues. The estimated street value of the drug seized is over $1.4 million. We remain resolute in the fight against illegal drugs, and we will continue to hunt them wherever they are.
The individual was brought to the Roseau Police Station on Tuesday, August 6th, and is currently being questioned in relation to the illegal drug discovery. Investigations are continuing. The Salisbury Health Center is now better equipped as it received a donation of medical supplies from two of its residents who now resides abroad. The contribution, which was donated on Wednesday, August 7th, included adult diapers, bandages, aprons, alcohol prep pads, suction bulbs, and sodium chloride, among others. This was made possible thanks to the kind work of Mrs. Catherine Karamlui, who now resides in the United States and who has been making significant donations to the health center for a number of years. Mrs. Lee forwarded the thanks to her husband, Mr. Skyer David Louis of England, who she said made it all possible.
We all in Salisbury, as a community, it's our family, it's us, right? It's our children, and a lot of us is living overseas. Doesn't matter where. We have to come together and help one another. It is for us, not for nobody else. Me, I'm getting older. My grandparents are dead. My sisters, my cousins, we have them here, and their children, and my children, so, and your children. So it is for us, for all of us. So let us help one another, let us put together, let us come together, let us exchange telephone numbers, and let us see what we can do for our community.
She said it is very important to help each other, so the community will be much better for future generations. Mr. Louis stated this idea of donating to the health center came to mind during their visit to Dominica for the Salisbury reunion celebrations, when he had to take his mother to the health center for treatment.
The way I saw the center, I felt, appalled by it. And when we went to the hall, the school, that's when we decided, most of us say we got to do something to try to help the community. And I'm glad that, Catherine is in the healthcare, and she was able to do more than I can, or I could rather. So we're proud and happy that we do something for our community.
In recognition of her donation to the health center, Mrs. Lee was presented with a plaque on behalf of the staff. The Salisbury community also received a donation of sports supplies from Mr. Davidson John of Salisbury, who resides in England. Parliamentary representative of the Monrachet and the Salisbury constituency, Honorable Hector John, presented the sports equipment on behalf of Mr. Davidson John.
And we would like to thank him on behalf of the community for making that contribution. As I said earlier on, we have to encourage others to do that, give back to the community. As Ms. Catherine says, our community. We have to work together and to ensure that we give support to the entire community. On behalf of Mr. John, I'd like to make the short presentation. Mr. Langley. All these sporting gears for the school. These are sporting gears for the primary school in Salisbury from Mr. Davidson John from Salisbury, living in England. Yes. Yes, some more.
Mr. John said, although small, this contribution will go a long way in keeping young children off the streets and engaged in playing sports at the school. Some of the supplies were for cricket, football, and badminton. More news. a prominent businessman has raised concerns over a statement made by His Worship Cecil Joseph, Mayor of Roseau, on the renaming of the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. Mr. Val Coffey said that the people who played an integral part in the development and the structure of Dominica should be recognized.
I, however, take issue with the statement by Mayor Cecil Joseph in regards to the renaming of the Dame Mary Eugenia Charles Boulevard and other aspects in relation to the Maroons. We have to recognize that our history is very important. We must appreciate our political history. A tremendous job has been done by several leaders in our system. We have to remember people like Edward Oliver LeBlanc, Michael Douglas, Rosie Douglas, the late Pierre Charles. We also have to look at the contribution of people like Patrick John and even Edison Chenfield James.
According to Mr. Coffey, the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard is a great representation for the contributions that Miss Charles has made toward the development of Dominica throughout her reign in the political arena.
There should be a bust in Portsmouth for Rosie Douglas. There should be a bus for E.O. LeBlanc and E.O. Highway. And I do not see any need to rename the boulevard or any of those political icons' history and to put it behind closed doors because for political difference.
Meanwhile, His Worship Cecil Joseph said that this statement made at the unveiling of the Neg Mawa was misconstrued.
I made the statement and I never said that the name should be Dame Eugenia should be removed completely. I said that in reference to the name Bayfront, we have been hearing everyone saying the Bayfront. And as a matter of fact, if you go to the Bayfront right now, you will see a plaque that is written the Roseau Bayfront, and you will see at the end says the British visited here. So I want everyone to go onto the Bayfront and to understand what I said.
Mr. Joseph is of the view that the boulevard does no justice to the stern representation that Mary Eugenia Charles portrayed.
That the person that Dame Eugenia Charles was, her stern contribution that she has given to Dominica, the way that she has assisted Dominicans and Dominica to the way it is today, I am of the view that the Bayfront doesn't do justice to her. I am of the view that you should place the name of Dame Eugenia Charles in any other location or in any other streets. For instance, on the Bayfront, everyone who uses the Bayfront says, we're going now to the Bayfront. No one says, we're going to Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. I am saying what should happen is Great Judge Street, King George Street, any of those streets which are basically a hub within the city can be named after Dame Eugenia Charles.
Mr. Joseph believes that the renaming will ensure that future generations are aware of the contributions that the late Dame Eugenia Charles has made in Dominica. He highlighted that Victoria Street and Great George Street should also be changed to names of people who have contributed greatly to society. Other stories: the Nature Island Literary Festival workshop, which was held on Saturday, August 3rd, was a success, according to chairman of the Nature Island Literary Festival, Alwyn Booley. The workshop was facilitated by author Jane Ulysses Grell and United Kingdom journalist Paulie Paciullo, among others. After each festival, persons continue writing and utilizing their own creative imagination to take their lives to a new level. The biggest success, however, has been the fact that children as well as adults now have an avenue to express themselves through reading and demonstrating their reading skills. The workshop aims to inspire individuals to appreciate the art of writing. Older children from ages 9 to 14 were engaged in web design, blogging, and social media, and used the web to publish their own writing under the supervision of Dr. Shyla Esprit. A new book entitled Look Back was officially launched. This year's Nature Island Festival was held under the theme Read for Change. Other stories: an injunction filed against the DFA by former president of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Patrick John, has been lifted. This injunction would have prevented the organization from electing a first vice president on Saturday, July 27, 2013. According to the public relations officer of the Dominica Football Association, Gerald George, High Court Judge Justice Brian Caudill originally granted the injunction but reversed the decision on Tuesday, August 6, 2013.
It's a good day for us at the FA and the football family. So it's indicated by the Patrick Jones lawyer that they plan to appeal the decision. So it clears the decision today by the High Court Judge clears the way for the election. But we'll wait and see what the lawyer for Mr. George is doing, saying that they have indicated that they plan to appeal the decision.
The vacating of this decision cleared the way for the election of the DFA's vice president. When granted, the judge did not hear the side of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. George added. Mr. George stated, however, the association is in no rush to elect a new first vice president, as they will await the outcome of Mr. John's appeal, but they are within their rights.
For now, we just want some peace in the football fraternity here in Dominica, so we'll just leave it as it is for now. That Mr. John continues to interfere into the affairs of Dominica Football Association. So it's just shameful that we have to go back and forth, and someone like Mr. John doesn't want to let it rest. But we at the FA, we continue to do what we have to do, what we were elected to do by the membership of the football family, and we will continue to do that until the end of our term, which is legally due in 2015.
Mr. John's legal action stems from an ongoing court battle which came about when the association unanimously voted to suspend him for the remainder of his term, ending in 2015, while he was serving a 2-year ban from FIFA. The DFA is represented by attorney Kondwani Williams. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.